Welcome to Hardline. I'm your host, Matthew Christopher, and tonight we have a special guest for our segment. We've been following the ongoing scandals that have plagued Uber Technologies, the rideshare service, on our show. Women and men have been raped and assaulted using this service. We wonder, is Uber doing enough to ensure the safety of its passengers? There have been a number of attacks on passengers in Uber's short tenure as a company, enough that some consumers are turning back to traditional taxis and other rideshare options for transportation. Tonight, we have an exclusive interview with the company's new Director of Security and Personnel, Brenda Seguridad. Brenda, thanks for being here.
Great to be here, Matt.
So it's my understanding that you have some big plans for Uber. Why don't you tell me about them?
Yes, thanks, Matt. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge that we agree in part with what you said earlier. We haven't done enough to screen our drivers. Safety is our utmost priority at Uber, and we plan to make that the center of our business strategy going forward. That's why I'm heading up this new department. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I was brought on by Uber after working with Airbnb, doing similar work. Being a woman myself, I know what it's like to have those thoughts in the back of your mind. Is it really safe to stay in that person's house? Should I walk down that street because it's quicker, or should I walk down this one where more people can see me? What about that driver? He looks a little sketchy. Going forward, we are keeping women and these kinds of thoughts in particular in mind. How can we assure women, and men for that matter, that our service is safe? Well, we have begun to make it much more difficult to become an Uber driver. We will be conducting much more thorough background checks on these potential new recruits, even though it's expensive. It's that important to us.
Interesting. So how does that translate into a safer user experience? You admit that Uber should have done more to screen its drivers before. How can passengers be sure that they're getting into the vehicle of one of these new and more scrutinized drivers?
That's a great question, Matt. We're in the process of updating our records now. We are looking through our payroll and looking to whittle down our drivers list significantly. Drivers who aren't driving at least 20 hours per week will no longer be driving with us, unfortunately. Those drivers who on average per quarter drive at least 20 hours per week will be allowed to stay on board. We want to keep around drivers who really want to be with us. We will also be requiring these drivers to undergo the LifeScan background check, which includes fingerprinting and is the highest standard of background check at cost to us. Part of my department will be to ensure that every driver has this background check and that it is up to date.
Well, that sounds expensive.
It is, but it's of utmost importance.
Today, Uber put out a press release detailing new standards for drivers. Tell us more about that.
Sure. So whenever a customer gets into an Uber vehicle from now on, she can be sure that the driver is fully insured and registered. She can also be sure that the driver has taken a 2-hour online sexual harassment and sensitivity course. Most importantly, that driver will have undergone the LifeScan background check, as I mentioned before. Through that, we will be able to ensure that none of our drivers will have had any felonies on record, nor will they have any misdemeanor traffic violations within the past 5 years. They are permitted to traffic infractions per 12-month period, but not while driving an Uber vehicle. Any and all drivers accused of misconduct will be placed on leave while an investigation is underway.
Wow, Brenda, that's quite an about-face, if you don't mind me saying so.
I'm actually glad to hear you say that. We truly believe that one incident is too many.
But what about abroad? Can you ensure these guarantees in, say, India?
We plan to implement similar strategies later down the line. First, we will see how this new plan works here in the U.S.
Interesting. I suppose time will tell. I heard that Uber is planning on giving away some rides, too.
That's right. For the month of July, we'll be offering free rides to our customers every weekend night from 8 p.m. to midnight. By this time, all of our drivers will be following the new guidelines. We want our customers to experience what it's like to have the safest ride possible. During this time, we will also be inviting customer feedback so that we can find out what they love about Uber and how we can improve.
Great. That sounds like quite a sweet deal. But that's all the time we have today. Thanks, Brenda. It was a pleasure having you here.
Thanks, Matt.
Join us again next week where I'll be interviewing Gary Busey. I'm Matthew Christopher, and this is Hardline.